6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Man, I want to complain it's cold. I want to complain it's cold, but I know it's not as cold as it is in Alaska. I know it's not. I know it can't be that cold because Cullen proved me wrong yesterday when I was complaining how cold it was. He's like, you know what, Brock? It's like minus 11, and that's our high today. That could be our high today. So good morning, Chet. What up,
Hey.
brother? Good morning to you, Chet. It was good
Morning.
talking to you yesterday. Good morning to you, Hunter. Look at you, Hunter. Freaking did you say you're getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning? Did you say was I seeing something on that? Or I wasn't too sure. I had a couple people yesterday who told me that they were showing up and that they were taking action. I got pumped after I read your text message. I was about to freaking bust through walls. I was about to go crazy when I got D's message all. I had a couple of you who told me you were getting up early. And damn, Cullen, they got up early. They got up early. Sherry's been getting up at 5. I had Allie. She got up at 5 today. Hunter got up early. Jasmine, she was texting me late last night. She wants her money. She's trying to get a referral check. She's just like, Brock, I need my money. Where is it? I said, you know what, Jasmine, I like that. I like how you're hungry for that. So hopefully I was able to answer that message over there to you. Who else do we got here? James is here. Sarah's here. Good morning to you all. Good morning to you, Sherry, John Hart, Jim Morris in the house. Is that Robin Nilsson? Because if that's Robin, I need to yell at her a little bit. Also, where's Amy Kane? Where's Amy Kane? Amy Kane is, guys, let me just tell you, Amy Kane is under, she's going to be in some trouble if she doesn't start making her phone calls. Okay. She's going to be in trouble if she doesn't make her phone calls. And I told her, I said, I'm going to call you out on the show. I'm going to call you out on the show. So I know Jim's got things going on. Look at that hat. Look at that hat. He doesn't, man. He was having a conversation with Gary Ashton about that hat, about like there's a name for that hat, what that hat, like there's like different kinds. Guys, Fran, I'm not even going to try to explain that hat. I don't even know anything about it, except I like a sock hat. I know this. I'm going to do this, Cullen, and then I'm going to give you the microphone back. I promise. What do you call those hats you put on your head? Do you call it a sock hat? Do you call it a toboggan? I don't know. What do you call those hats that you literally goes all over? Bryce hates them. He thinks they're the worst things in the world. But I call them a sock hat. I'm from up north in New York. We call it sock hats. Like my mom is, Brock, put your sock hat on. Brock, put your sock hat on. Put it on. Put it on. So put it in the chat. What do you call that? What do you call it? See, Colin, I don't know why. I just wanted to know that because I saw Jim's hat and I was just like, Jim uses it as marketing. That's why I need to talk to him about marketing because that's what he does. He uses that as his thing. I like Chet in the background with lending. Okay. What do you got? What are you helping people with? Okay. What's your marketing? What do you have in your background? Over here, I got a bunch of books. Makes me look like I read a lot, which I do. What do we have? Let's see. What do they call it here? Beanies. Oh, I didn't even know a beanie. A toboggan. Stephanie, what up, girl? A toboggan beanie. I guess I'm the only one that a ski hat, a knit cap. Damn. We could just talk about hats the whole time over here, Colin. Colin, I'm done. My voice is still shot. And I am just excited to be here with my main man, Cullen. He's in Alaska. He's 4 hours ahead. Give a shout out to Cullen at 4:20 in the morning. This man is here showing up, Michelle. Good morning, brother. How are you?
Good, Brock the Rock. How are you?
Just as you can see, just trying to another no day of school. Another no day of school. We're expecting more snow this weekend. So, as I was telling you this morning, I'm like, I'm just trying to balance kids. You know, the ex-wife, love her to death, Brock, when are you coming to get the kids? How are we gonna do this today? I'm like, I don't know. Like, can I just open up my that's like my first text I get this morning. So we're getting there, man. We are getting there.
Brock, you
You
saying
know, it's
still no school?
What's that, chat?
Still no school, did you say?
Still no school, brother.
Crazy.
Still no school. Probably won't have school till tomorrow either. Probably won't have school Monday or Tuesday of next week because of the snow, because just it's the balancing act that we do. You don't, Colin, how's Charlie?
Charlie's good. So before I get into my morning talk this morning, let me give you two pieces of information for you. Where I live, we cancel school when it gets too warm.
Because there's no air conditioning.
Seriously?
Well, no, because in the wintertime, when our snow's here, it's here for the year. So it hits mid-October and it stays until the end of March. If it warms up and rains, the roads get too slick. The buses can't get up in the hills to get kids, so we have to cancel school because it's too warm in the wintertime. So
You
we,
know
we have
what?
the opposite problem. And
uh,
and speaking of Charlie, I have a very good friend that when I was living in Washington D.C. and he kept telling me, he says, "You need to put a GoPro on that dog, have him walking through the neighborhood, and that should be your marketing. Is Charlie's view of the world."
how long have we been
And
talking about that, Colin?
well, Brock, that leads right into what we're going to talk about today. It was very fortuitous that I got on the call yesterday and listened to what you talked about because that's what I want to talk about today. I want to take you back in particular, back to September 6th. You and I were sitting in your kitchen. That was the morning I was leaving. That was the
Okay.
morning that Bryce Boy wanted to trade Leo for Charlie.
That's right. He did.
Yeah, for those who know, so I was at Brock's house for a few days, and Bryce carried Charlie around for 3 days like he was a stuffed animal. And I finally said, "Hey, Bryce, what do you think we put Charlie down?" "Why?" I said, "I don't think he's really like him that a whole lot." "Oh, he's fine." So the morning I was leaving, he says, "Are you really having go?" I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna go see some other friends." He says, "Well, what about Charlie? Charlie could stay, can't he?" I said, "Well, what about Leo?" "Oh, you could take Leo. That'll be fine." So, uh, but also that morning, my my extremely good friend, one of my 3M people, someone we know as Coach Brock, set me down and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean?" "How long have we known each other?" I said, "For a few years now." He's okay. He goes, "Look, I admire what you did going back to help your dad. That was admirable. It was a very honorable thing. Good for you. Your dad's gone. What are you doing? You have talked to me about this tax program for helping homeowners for at least 3 years. What are we doing? Get off your butt and do something. Stop waiting for it to happen. Yeah, I understand you put life on hold for your dad, but that's over. Get up and get moving again. And it was very kind. There was no
I
anger in the
was, I
voice
was
at
like,
all. It was very loving.
I try to say it kindly,
Yeah.
but kind of like in the way that I like to say things. I'm like, what the hell are you doing, man?
Yeah. It was very kind, very loving. And when you spend 11 weeks driving around America, you get a lot of windshield time, a lot of time to think about things. And it's like, you know what? As he often is, Coach B Rock was right. So I spent a little bit of time hiring a VA. We have spent time building this thing out. Earlier this week, I hired my first independent contractor who's going to monitor all this stuff for me. We've got the websites built. I'm meeting tomorrow with my attorney to finalize the contract for the independent contractor, my contract with my brokerage, and our referral contract that's going to be outbound. And so by this time next week, we should be up and live. And this is something that, yeah, Brock knows I've been messing around with for at least 4 years. And it was it was a very loving push from Brock that finally got this thing up and going. And I'm very grateful for that. I think it's going to help a lot of people. Um, and I'm very excited about it. Then yesterday, after our morning coaching call, I I spent 2 hours on the phone with an author who helps other authors suss out what they have. And a friend of mine had connected me up with these folks, said, hey, I really like what you write. You need to turn this into a book. And I write every day. And for those of you following on social media, the kind of stuff that I write. And I've had the idea, and I've had people approach me before about a book. And I'm, oh, I don't know. I'm that imposter syndrome. I'm just some knucklehead from former hockey player from Fairbanks, Alaska, who's going to read anything I wrote, and I'd probably have to write it crayon anyway. But I spent 2 hours yesterday with this author who helps people put together an outline and help you figure out what you got. And at the end of it, she said, she was part of my job here is to be honest with people about, do you have a book or don't you? And my thinking originally was, I don't know if this is a book, but it might be one of those little things people keep on their desk that have the little 4x6 cards on it. You flip it over every day to a new thought. And she said, I think you have a book here. She was, I think you have a great book here. And she was, I think you need to do this. You need to get this in the hands of people because you're going to help a lot of people. And so she's supposed to get the outline back to me today. And then we're going to talk about the next step in the process. So, and these are all things I wouldn't have done without a loving, kind push from Brock. And my point in sharing all this with you is not to pat Brock on the back, although that is a well-deserved pat on the back, but to echo his sentiment from yesterday. And the same thing he said to me in September. What are you waiting on? I'm a big Pink Floyd fan, and always have been. And there's an old Pink Floyd lyric about we're racing to catch up to the sun, and the sun's always ahead of us. What are you waiting on? You're not going to catch the sun. What are you waiting on? Your life has begun. We sit around and we wait for something to stir us into motion. We wait for something. And Brock used the analogy yesterday of a train, and it's funny because I've written about that before. You go down to think about being down at a train depot. They can put a little block of metal in front of a train and it won't move. Once the train's in motion, you can't stop it. It'll run right through a cement wall. But it has to get in motion first. We're the same way. What are you waiting on to get into motion? Your life has begun. Your business has begun. You have people that support you, people that love you, people that are on your side, people who are cheering for you. They're waiting for you to get moving. And we all think that, oh, I need to take one more class. I need to read one more book. I need to listen to one more podcast. No, you don't. You have everything you need to be successful. Everything. It's already in you. You know what the magic button is? Start. That's the magic button. And we keep looking for something else that's, boy, if I just had one more bit of information, this would all come together for me. And in the course of my conversation yesterday with this author, we were talking about kind of my philosophy on things. And I said, because she asked me, what do I think people want to get from this when they're done with it? And I said, well, I think that I'm a hugger. And I said, kind of the image I have in my head is for people that are stuck and that aren't going in the direction they want to go in life is put your arm around them. I'm here with you. Let's not worry about step 438. Let's worry about step 1. Let's take that first step. And you know what's going to happen after the first step? The second step will appear. And then we take the second step, the third step appears. Dr. King has that great quote that you don't need to see the whole staircase, just the next step. What are you waiting on to take your step? And just to be clear again, as I said, I've had this thing in my head for over 4 years. And until Brock put his arm around me and said, let's take a step, I kept waiting for one more thing. But if I just had one more piece of information, this would be ready to go. And Brock put his arm around me and said, let's take a step.
Let me add something to this here. I see a lot of the chats, Cullen, that you're touching a lot of people this morning. And I wanna dive into what you just said so people can really lean into this. So one is, I think Monica, you said it over here. If I go back up here, you said you already have everything inside of you. See, God planted a seed in every single one of us. We already have it. The challenge, there's two challenges that come into play that I see with growth and where I see with people is you already had what you needed, Cullen. And what we do is the lack comes in the form of, if we were to visualize a seed, is like a lack of water, a lack of sunlight. And we have this seed, and just imagine if you took the seed and the seed that Cullen had, he was just putting it in his closet. And in the closet, I think we all agree, yes or yes, that that seed will grow, but not at the capacity that it can grow. Right? We don't see the capacity. It's like a potato. Like, you ever get those bag of potatoes? We just did it recently. That's why it came in my head. Is like, we had a bag of potatoes. It was in the closet. We had it before Christmas. I pull it out. I'm like, oh yeah, I can make potato soup during the snowstorm. And I pull it out, and there's all these little tangles like growing out of it. Right? Everybody have ever seen that with the potatoes? But the potatoes will never grow at the capacity that they need to grow if I planted it in soil to where they can be turned into a bushel of potatoes and you go dig them. They'll grow, but only in a certain limit. So what are you lacking? Whether it's the nutrients, it's the people, it's the book or the video, and sometimes it's just a person to help push you. Which leads me to number 2 with Cullen. Is because Cullen said what? He says, Brock, you said something yesterday. I said something to a lot of you. And then all of a sudden, people started to get up early today. And all of a sudden, people started to write their list and do their energy and whatever it is that you wanted to do yesterday. Which brings me to number 2, which is your environment. And what happens is people take their seed, just like it was in the closet that Cullen said. But sometimes we actually have it in the light, but our environment is not conducive to our growth. And that's like planting an oak tree, a seed, into a small little ceramic pot. And that seed will only grow as big as the what? The pot. The ceramic pot that you put it in. But if you transplant it, hence the rooms that you get into, the environment that you're in, you become a badass freaking oak tree that can grow as big as you want it to grow. And it could do crazy things just like you. And it could provide shade. It could provide nutrients. It could provide a swing. It could provide so many things. You can cut it down and build a house with it. You could do so many things if you get yourself in the right environment and start taking your lack and nourishing it. And so my question to you, Cullen, and for everybody that's on here, what made you make that decision? Because there's only so much I can do. You had to leave. I didn't get in the car with you, even though Bryce wanted to get in the car with you and Charlie. But I didn't get in the car with you and continue on your windshield time because you were heading down south. But you made a decision. You took an action. Was there a defining moment? Was there anything that you said into your head where Dee was telling me yesterday, enough is enough? Many of you are saying to you yourselves, enough is enough. And I said to Dee, I said, shit or get off the pot, Dee. Let's just be point blank in what I said to her. And that's what I said. So what made you, Cullen, decide to make that transition to help somebody else out here this morning?
So that was it. I mean, it was just the fact of the loving conversation of, what are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? You've talked to me about this for years. What are you waiting on? And it's like, you know what? I got the car. He's like, he's 100% right. What am I waiting on? It's time to stop planning and start acting. You know, I know most of us on here are believers and are followers of Christ, and I'm a firm believer that if someone comes in your head, they're there for a reason. And I think you reach out to people because God put those people in your head for a reason. If I'm thinking about Brock, I reach out to Brock. Hey, just wanted to see us, thinking about you. Just want to make sure things are going okay. Just want to check on you. And I think in our conversation yesterday, the same thing is about your goals and your dreams. God put that in your head for a reason. You don't need another class. You don't need another podcast. You don't need another book. You have what you need. You have the seed. It's time to plant that seed. And it's time to nurture that seed. You know, one of the people that Brock and I both really love is John Maxwell. And one of my favorite quotes from John Maxwell is, human beings are the only creatures on the planet who get to choose how much they grow.
Mm.
Everything else grows to its maximum capacity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can see plants that like you see trees that grow around a bench or grow around a bicycle. They've been marred because the thing was leaned up against them and it grew around it, but still grew to the maximum potential it could grow. We get to choose. And 99.99% of us are choosing to stay small.
Mm-hmm.
You have those ideas in your head. You have those goals in your head. We feel stuck. Oh, you don't know what it's like. I've got family. I've got kids. I've got responsibilities. You know what? Every single person you meet has responsibilities. Everyone. And we all know those people that we look at and go, boy, he's living a big life. I wish I was doing that. You know why he's living a big life? Because he dared to take the step. That's why he's living a big life. He doesn't have it easier than you. He's not smarter than you. He didn't read more books than you did. He took the step. That's what makes the big life, is taking the step. And, you know, analogies, again, when I was talking to this author yesterday, I said, I know how to swim. When I was a kid, I liked to go to the pool. I haven't been in a pool in years, but I can swim. I don't know why I use swimming as an analogy, but I think it's something that all of us can relate to. And to Brock's point is this conversation to D. My thing I sent to Brock yesterday is, we can read all the books we want to about swimming, watch all the swimming videos we want to. We can watch the Olympics and watch swimming. But until you get your ass in the pool, you're not a swimmer.
Mm.
Get your ass in the pool. You don't need to watch another swimming video. You don't need to watch the Olympics again. You need to just get your ass in the pool and start swimming.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
You know, and I keep thinking back about a conversation I had with a woman when I was living in Seattle. And I really liked Julie a lot. She had two young boys, and they were active with their boys and doing things with them all the time. And she said one day, she goes, you got it so easy. I said, how's that? She said, well, you don't have kids. She said, your time is freed up to work more. You can prospect more. You can be out there more. And I said, yeah, that's true. I said, but you know, the other side of the coin is you've got it easy because you do have kids. You're around a lot of parents. You're going through the same phases of life as them. So when you're thinking about moving, guess what they're thinking about? They're thinking about moving. You know the parents who are going to transfer schools. You know you have a built-in audience. I don't have that. It's not easier. It's different.
Mm.
Let me say that again. It's not
Yeah.
easier. It's different. The people you look at don't have life easier. They have it different. Put your blinkers on or your blinders on, depending on where you're from, your toboggan hat or your knit cap, but you know, like horses. There's a reason to put the blinders on the horses. Stop looking at what's going on over here. Look at what's going on here. You know, we get so worried about our world, we don't think about our life.
Mm.
We're worried about people that we don't even, you know, all of us have one of these, and all of us have a ton of numbers in these that we store. And it's gotten to where we don't remember anyone's phone number anymore because it's in my phone. I don't need to remember. Okay, that's great. We're letting people we don't even have in our phone stop us from living our big life because we're worried what they're going to think about us. Think about that for a second. That person is truly so insignificant to your life. You don't even have them in your phone, and you're letting that person, what you think that person might think about you, stop you from being in action. They're going to make fun of me. They're going to ridicule me. They're going to mock me. You know, as the older we get, I used to say that from the time I was about 13 till I was about 25, my dad was not a very smart man. From the time I got to 26 on, my dad got smarter every year. And I think that about now that both my parents are gone, I think a lot about things my mom used to say. And mom's sayings are almost always right. Why do you worry about what they think? They're not important. Stop worrying about your world. Start worrying about your life. The people that are in this room right now, these are the people in your life. These are the people who love you. They support you. They'll lift you up. If you need help, there's not a person on here who wouldn't say, I'm here to help you. What do you need? And we worry about the people in our world. Someone you might run into at the grocery store once a year and probably don't even say hello to. You just walk by each other. But you know each other and you think, oh, but they're gonna think that I'm arrogant or I'm God, who is he to be? Who cares what they think? Stop worrying about your world, start worrying about your life. Take that first step. Then you'll figure out the second one. So that's what I got, B-Rock. I'd love to hear anybody pop off.
I first and foremost, if anybody sees Justine, I'm gonna call her out. She needed to listen to this today because my text messages today. One and foremost, I know I talk a lot about my text messages, but I love all of you who text me. Like my phone goes off starting at about 3:45 in the morning, and I love it. I truly do. And I was telling Justine today, I sent her a message today that for those of you who think like a lot, it's our high I in our dispersonality. Like you care about what other people think, and I did for a long period of time. And I told Justine two things. I said, one, you need to read the Serenity Prayer every single day. So for those of you that are struggle with this, you need to read the Serenity Prayer every single day, several times a day. Two, and excuse my language, but two things come about when you allow, like when you don't worry about what other people think. They're either going to think you're an a-hole or you're a bitch. Those are the two things that they're going to think about. Like, oh, he's just a jackass, he's an a-hole, whatever. And I get that because I'm told that. Like, well, he's just this and this and that. I'm like, well, I don't really care what you think. And I'm not trying to be mean, but if I allowed every filter, does everybody like what I post on comments and everything else under the sun, blah, blah, blah? No, but I don't care. The people I care about are within this circle. And some of you beyond the circle, and then you'll text me like, hey, Brock, I thought this and I thought this. I'd be like, okay, great. Anything else? If not, see ya. And I don't try to be mean, but I just don't have time to deal with the negativity. And if you don't align with me, I don't want to be assigned to you. There's alignment versus assignment. Go to John Maxwell. He talks about it. And so if you align, great. And last but not least, I'll say this, Cullen, and I'll let you close this out for Justine tomorrow. Boy, she's going to have a good one tomorrow. Is stop playing small. Stop playing small. Get in with the big wigs. They put their pants on the same way you do. Have conversations with them. Eventually, they will talk to you because you got to keep showing up. That's how I talked to Gary Ashton. I just kept reaching out to him, and then we started engaging. And who the hell would have thought that I'd be speaking on his team meeting, his awards banquet the following week in Nashville, pay for my flight, stay in his own house, meet his family, because if I played small, I wouldn't be there. to be able to see what he does at the level that he does it at. $46 million last month, his team did. And I got to be around that. I got to be around the CEOs, the NAR president, to being in those rooms. Have Jim Morris tagging along with me, him and I partnering together side by side. If I didn't have those conversations with Jim Morris years ago to step in a room that cost $10,000 playing small, that's what pisses me off when people tell I can't afford it. You can't afford not to. Stop playing small, all, and you will live a life that you can't even imagine. So, Cullen, close us out, brother. Thank you so much. Great message today. Put some five in the chat, some love in the chat all for Cullen.
I'll leave you with this. And I've heard this expressed a lot of times about when we die, one version of hell is that we get to meet the person we could have been. And then someone expressed this to me the other day, and I'd never heard it put this way. And he said it came from Les Brown. And this doesn't surprise me, but it's because it sounds like Les Brown. He said, on our deathbed, we will be visited by all the visions that we had in our head of the person we wanted to become. And those people are going to say, you killed me. I came to you. I had a life I wanted to live. I had dreams I wanted to live, and you never let me live because you kept me in your head. Live your life. Live those visions in your head. Stop waiting for the plan to come to you. You have the plan. Take the first step. The second step will appear. So that's what I got, Brock. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Stay safe. I know the weather's a concern for most of you guys. Be safe. And I'll see you tomorrow morning.